Because if you can't, that would suck. It would suck tremendously. I meant for that to be like turned in a whole opposite way. But let me just do this here. It's telling me there's some messages there, but I don't see anything. So moving right along. I have to like look at this thing because the other day I was on here and I turned like a second, I turned around, it was like in my lap. Like so yeah. Hope everyone is having a good Friday. I've said that so much today. So much. And I mean it. I mean it. Taking a moment here. I didn't do any like intro thingy or anything this time because I'm on a different device and I just didn't. But please forgive me. Um, I'll make sure that everything is on up and up next time. When I go live and stuff. I think right now it's just how does it look on camera? It's more about the message. You know? Yeah, I would say. Or just it's just yeah, more about the concept about the topic at hand, more about the words that's coming in my mouth. And these days, you just are not surprised by the words that are coming out of people's mouths, either whatever type of words they are, words to tell you what's going on or what's not going on, but it's always something like, what is it now? Give me 1 second. Like, what is it now? You know? So I'm gonna just go ahead and jump right in on, what's on the top, the dome at the moment. Um, it's safe to say, right, that everybody loves themselves, right? Or you feel you do. You love your family and you want to keep them safe. You treat them, I hope you do, with kindness and love and respect and all that. I would hope. Um, or just, and what about others, like without outside of your family? Can you say that you treat everybody with respect and kindness? Can you say that? Because I want you to ask yourself these very things. There's really no one to not saying that you would lie to, or this is something for yourself to think about. And yeah, so do you feel good about how you handle people in your day-to-day life? Do you find yourself, and do you find yourself respectful to any and all human beings, no matter what sex, creed, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, all that stuff? And if you have a problem with any of those, because I don't know the answer, nobody really knows the answer but you and that's why when people say preaching to the choir, it's like you're putting on a show for the wrong folks. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to have to be held accountable for the things we did within our hearts. That's why people say God knows our hearts. Yeah, damn Skippy, he does. And if you got an ugly one, what do you think that is going to bring about? in life. And like, why would one want to hold an ugly heart? Like, what do we get out of that? You know, I was in on a live earlier in another place, and I began to think about that whole thing on one of the, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Utah or wherever that school the school is um, where they went about sending out things to parents, giving them opportunity to opt out of teaching Black history. And I was thinking to myself, what's your deal? Because there was a woman, this one woman, this one lady, that her heart spoke so loudly to her that she said, you know what? Parents don't have to do this. They don't have to educate their children on history. They don't have to educate their children on truth. Yeah, yeah, we'll just like hold them back and keep them ignorant to the ways of the world so they can just walk into stuff just like willingly and blindfolded. Let me tell you something. That's some load of crock. And if you're parents and you do that, when is the cycle going to stop? Because history, you can't change it. These are facts. History is done, and history is there, like kind of like a bookmark, so we can, not do some of the things that they did, or we can like move, fix them. It's like a reminder. You know what I mean? So if you don't really know what you're working with, then you really don't know how to move forward or what's going on now because it all plays a part. You just have to be willing to do the homework, and if you say you love your life and you want a better life, then it's pretty much worth it. I mean, you know, because if you're not willing, then you're just going to do exactly how what it was designed for you not to. So that cycle, yeah, doesn't have really anywhere to go if it's not willing to do the pedaling. It shows what does your heart desire? What do you want? What is you desire in this life, in this world, and not this tangible stuff. Tangible like stuff that will exert. You didn't come in with it, so it's not worth a damn. And if it's all it controls you, then basically that's all you're saying your life is worth. This is so much bigger than that. Like as a person here, okay? Not stuff that people made to control, but like here. And if you don't have any of that, then that's sad. Hmm. And you're not fighting or working for much because you can try to obtain all these things and whatever your end result or your goal is, no matter how much you think it's got good intent, but your heart and your thoughts, when you place your way of thinking can screw up your whole alignment too, you know all of that right there, but still with the intent of doing something that you find to be of great matter, could possibly tell us sometimes why we don't ever get to that place because of your heart and your baggage that you don't want to actually deal with. So you shrug it off and say that it's all good and focus in on anything but things you can't control. But anywho, those things right there that make a human being a human, kindness, empathy, care, great foundation is logic, truth, honesty, and integrity, Now, integrity, that is lacking very much so in this world. Integrity and empathy are the two that jump right to the top of my head. Those both two are very beautiful, beautiful, wonderful ways of a human being to have integrity and to have empathy. Why is it that we can't really find those two a lot? Not, like, because they kind of go hand in hand, You can't really go with anything else. Like integrity can't go with immoral, unethical. It's like there's no words for it. It's like, dude, there's no way those can work together. But we know some words that can work together: dishonest, unethical, immoral. I mean, they work together for a reason. So when one says, and when they do have to sit, they say that they are, no one really needs to say they have integrity because that's something. Integrity is humble, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, so one that no one goes and boasts or, about any, and they don't need to have anybody watching them do these upstanding and things that they do and how they stand up. They're a stand up type of person. They do what's right no matter who's around, you know what I mean? Not, not looking to be seen. So, you know. But anywho, off track again. But still, those words just resonate with me. And words, I mean, you got to play on words here. You keep putting that in the energy out, the greatness, the goodness that is within us all that we have. Just got to tap into it, you know. Mm. But I'll give you an example. Talking to somebody, and then they're playing the retake or like the recording, I guess, or whatever of the prior earlier that day, the impeachment, whatever. And what was very apparent, evident, was this one word that just kept being used by Democrats. And that's how that stuff works with anything or anybody that wants to embed something within a person. If you know how the brain works and how that's why when someone says brainwashed, definitely be brainwashed because we did not, you know, all these things, that information we take in now that we can actually choose to receive or not. Now, if you're aware, you know, some sort of a brainwash. I mean, you can brainwash your own self with your own, if you want to. That probably be best, you know. You can fix it that way to train your brain to react a different way. But when you don't know that, you're easily to succumb to the shit that's going on around you, everything. You're like, over here, and then you get all worked up, and then what do you get? Chaos, reaction. You react. You're built up. It just kept nipping away at you, and then boom, playing on your human emotions and your all that cognitive behavior, all that stuff. You know. But the word that kept on being said over and over again was fight, fight. All it changed was like the different sentences, but we got to fight, got to fight. You know what I mean? Like over and over and over. That one usually wouldn't even recognize that, but it was quite overly being used. Because you got to fight, like everything, and we're not going to give up this fight. You know what I mean? Like, did you guys just learn the meaning? What's going on? You want us to know that I mean, with fight, I mean, but nine times out of ten, a lot of people didn't recognize that because they're too busy actually trying to listen to the bullshit. You know what I mean? They were like saying, it probably like someone sitting there knowing that you guys, for the most people, aren't even ever going to grasp those things if we actually listened to what people say and how they say it and what they don't say. You know, that those things you go like, yes, go ahead, think about it. It's okay. That's why we have this brain. Hmm? Think about it, contemplate, put the pieces together if there's any. It's not a waste of time because if you say it's a waste of time, well, you're just saying that you fall for anything. This is like central for all this data this that goes through all up in here, and it resides somewhere. You know, and it's unfortunate that we don't even know that it's in there brewing away, and then all it takes is for that trigger, boop, and then you just explode. You start to react. That's exactly what happens to us as human beings. Like that is exactly how we are treated to get a reaction, and you tell us so many different things. Like that's how fear works. You put fear. Why do people need to be fearful? Hmm. Because you'll start doing irrational things. I was looking at some stuff earlier, and in like in the same notion, it said, put it like this. It said, this is I need an example because I just not going to even go into certain things while I'm on here tonight. But let's just say you're watching the news, which I don't do, by the way. Sorry. And I look for, first of all, I have anxiety. Second of all, can you blame me? So, anyways, um, so I noticed that I was reading one story, and then immediately after that, I read a whole different story in the same freaking like better way to put it. I'm watching if I was watching the news by some unfortunate reason, and you're watching the one report. Okay, you're like, okay, so things is getting better, and then like right after that, it's the worst ever. We have this many this going on and that many that, and you're just like, wait, what? But you guys just said, like, which one is it? That type of mess right there. You know, all this misinformation, disinformation, all this confusion and all that. And all it is doing is just wearing people's mental state down, which will wear your body down, and people get frustrated, tired. And that's why it's very important for us to take a step back and remember to breathe and remember what is this all for? Like, don't forget about your values and your life and what you have set forth in your goals. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that for anyone. Don't forget those things. Still keep thinking about those things and still think of them as you still getting there and achieving them, because that's what makes us human and makes us strive and motivates us into pushing forward. Um, we got to stay healthy. I mean, the best that we can, but mentally healthy, definitely. At that same time, it's like this all works together. So it's like the whole body has to be working together for the things to happen, or it's going to affect a certain part. So with having a healthy mental, you know, with having a healthy mentality, or your mental health is intact, and you're aware of it. You're being very aware of stuff. You're not just like receiving and letting any old thing, and all things be received inside your subconscious. So But then there's more to it than just here. We've got to nourish ourselves, right? Right. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not gonna feel bad about saying this. If you've never looked at the back of any of the things that you eat or drink, like ever, and then if you can't understand it, look it up. Never done that. And you know kind of world we're in. And then it's just like, duh, anyways, because you want to, you should just want to know. I don't understand it. Anybody that doesn't put it like that. It makes no sense to me. It's only logic. You bought it, like you want to know what's in it. All they had to do was just put it in a box and put it on commercial, and you were like, I'm definitely gonna put that in my body. Definitely, no questions asked. Man, let me tell you, if we're ingesting things that are unhealthy, where do you think that stuff goes? Into blood. You know what I mean? Everything's gonna go here. Everything, stress, all that. It's wearing your ass out. Yeah. So what do? You say? Well, I say first, do a challenge. Like if you have cereal, just go up there and look at everything on the back, and you don't know it. Google is free. Okay. A lot of people won't do it because they don't give a crap. They don't really have much going on there, motivating, or they're too busy doing other things. And it's like, to me, the only way to be able to keep doing other things is to be healthy so you can stay alive to do those things. That right there has no logic in it. I was going to bypass my health, keep doing what I'm doing, but I am trying to be successful and do this and that. I'm like, yeah, aren't you supposed to be alive to do that? People are ass backwards. That tells me that it's the shit that we intake. It's everything. I can feel that stuff. I can feel like energy, when you're of a sound mind and you can just know what your body feels like and just be aware, like I know that like these Wi-Fi's and just everything that we use that sends off so much power and stuff can, and just imagine, you have all these wires and stuff over the house. Don't you not know that? And then we're on the computer and on these phones for a massive amount of times, and then we leave them on when we go to bed, including your routers and all that stuff. And you don't think that shit is doing anything? Well, then let me tell you, if you don't think it matters and it does anything, then you have failed to educate yourself. And as far as the cereal, if you can't read it, you probably shouldn't be eating the stuff on the back, but look it up. And it's going to be like your favorite ones. And you're going to be like, oh shit. And then, but when you see it, like, that's not supposed to go in me. What the hell? And then some people say, well, I'm still here. Nothing's happened. It's like, well, yeah, that's most likely the reason why. It's going to do what it can have, yet still the reason between life or death, or why anything, anything. I mean, it's not supposed to be in there. So it makes you wonder how it got there. Why is it in there? What benefits what benefits it? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. But if you don't research and you haven't, then you shouldn't even be speaking on the matter because people need to read. If you know how to read, let's start reading. Yeah. So just open that book up. And if that's a problem, there's how do you there's things we can use to teach ourselves. You have to seek the knowledge. Not gonna fall out the sky or, like, what are we doing here? You have to like know what you put in your body, and like half near everything is horrible. I have always liked vegan food. I used to have I actually still speak and stuff, great person in my life. But he used to we used to always he's vegan, and we used to always go to like vegan restaurants and then vegan barbecues at La Jolla Shores, and I still buy vegan food um, when I can, and actually, it's like all I really will mess with because I just don't have it in me to eat the things that are set before, like meat and stuff. I just can't do it. Like physically, just turned off. Not just because the unsafe and unclean and very dangerous matters of it, of a lot of it. Not just that. And it's not due to like just because of religion, because, you know, I'm not religious, whatever that, not. We'll get to that later. But it's just me. Something is, it just won't. I remember in high school, I laid low on meat for like, 'cause I love cheeseburgers. Let me tell you, anything in this world that Brandy loves to eat. Ever since I was a little kid, my dad used to be like, "You go to these restaurants and just get a burger." So it's what I like, Dad. I mean, you want me to order something that I want? Okay, but you're gonna be mad that you're wasting it, and then I'll be hungry. This makes no sense. Logic, people, logic. They don't teach that in school. Jeez Louise. Anywho, but yeah, then it started to make sense to me that I remember when I was pregnant with my son, and I remember how, like even right now, thinking about it, I was pregnant with my son, and we get certain cravings, or we don't want certain things, or smells and all that stuff. So I'm like very like sensitive wise when it comes to food, like visually, and stomach. Like I'm very like easily provoked of possibilities of throwing up. You know what I mean? When it comes to disgusting things to ingest. But I remember when, and definitely afterwards, some things just stuck with me. Like I can't stand the smell of this like pumpkin spice something perfume, and when I was pregnant, and it made me so nauseous, and I still can't stand it. But when I was pregnant, I ate more fruits, and I was always thirsty. I didn't have a lot of like cravings, and like I was always like that throwing up stage is mother freaker. But as time goes on, I notice like with me, I'm very in tune of what can I ingest and what's not right. But for some reason, every time, I don't know if you all are very familiar with a California burrito. Now, if you're from California or San Diego, then you know what those are. For the ones that don't, it is like a carne asada burrito with fries and you know cheese, sardine, guacamole, and all that if you prefer. Well, every time I would get one, I I could not, those type of things I could not eat and then drink water, right? I was like, I gotta have the juice and I need a soda. If I'm gonna eat this, I need a soda. Because if I drink the water, for some reason, it makes me automatically just want to throw all that up. And then I never could really explain to people how it would make me feel. Like if I was having, like if it was like just sitting there, like within me. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Oil, you know what I mean, resides like that on top of water, right? That's correct. And that's what it felt like in my stomach. The cooking oils that we use, that challenge for you, but you'll do it, you won't. Read it, leave a comment. What's up in that cooking oil? And then I'll just leave that one alone. But it made sense why I would feel that way. Because at first I thought I was tripping, because I've always been like a funny, weird, like eater when I was younger and stuff. Like, I want that. Like, I don't really like milk. I don't. Can't catch me slurping that. It just turns me off. We'll talk about that in another time because it doesn't do a body. Yeah, but pretty sure once you research it, you'll understand, and don't just stop at a few sentences and go to one article. 'Cause people will publish things and nobody will. I mean, I took journalism for a very short time. Um, pretty sure embellishing stories was definitely not okay. But hey, we're living in a new time now. You can do a lot of things and that you shouldn't do, right? Even though you can't really do a lot of things that you shouldn't do, if that makes sense. But that's the mentality of people. We can do anything and get away with it. Like nobody really sees within the lines. It's kind of like you only take what you want out of stuff. So I don't know. For me, what I took from out of what I read on the back of the bottle is that I shouldn't be drinking it or eating it or like using it in the food because, oh my God, this telling what it's doing to our just eating away at our bodies and our minds. Like, how many of these things going on are really just as natural? Let me just say this, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But you know how animals, right, that people just tend to forget about, um, that are disrespected and treated like crap, and no one is doing anything about it. But that's all right. And don't I know PETA and all those different they're doing them. And by the way, if you are affiliated with PETA, please get in contact with me so I can do an interview. Okay, it has everything to do with um, doing a follow up that I did with a SeaWorld advocate. I don't want to get off topic, and her views, and then like PETA and their whole thing with animals should not be performing for us, you know, for money, and they shouldn't even be, you know, in captivity and yada yada yada. To each his own. But I feel like these two parties, right? The ones that are for SeaWorld and then there's PETA, feel like if they were to come together and talk and realize what each other's intentions are probably almost close to the same, possibly. So I mean, it was all for the well-being of the animal, right? But I don't want to get off topic. Um, I'll just wait. Somebody can remind me what I was talking about. Yeah. Anywho, it'll find its way back to me. All those things that I spoke of, right? Kindness and all the uh how we treat one another, how we talk to one another, having a good heart and God knowing what kind of heart you have and all that stuff. All those things. What do you think our children develop that type their sense of, how they feel towards other, how they perceive others. Like for instance, the pretty awful lady that decided she wanted to give her school parents a chance to opt out of educating themselves on American history, which is, Black history is American history, right? We agree. Just, wasn't very honest. Hmm. Either way it goes, it doesn't take away from the construct of our system and how it plays a part in it, and not being aware of certain things will leave you standing around looking kind of foolish, right? So I feel like for her to be doing that with, I'm assuming she has children, she's like, hell no, we don't even use that word in here. Okay. What is a black, you know? Um, that would, to me, that sounds like you are giving your child a disadvantage. You're giving them willful ignorance, and you probably want them to so that they can be oblivious to other people's pains and struggles. Who does that to? I mean, who does that? I don't get it. Why wouldn't you want your children to be at their fullest potential? And if that's something that definitely needs to be taught, so you don't repeat the same thing again. But that right there, clearly, that's what I saw it as. Because I'm not boo boo the fool. Like, what reasoning now would this woman go and tell a whole, school of parents that they don't have to take this history, Black history thing? You don't need to learn about Black people. The nerve, of some people. Mm-mm-mm. I wonder if she has a relationship with God because she does realize it's children, right? Oh, well, that's, I feel like you're robbing your child of knowing very important things to help them become a person, a well-rounded person. And if that's not the goal, then you're telling me you want to develop some more. What's the behavior we saw not that long ago? January 6th. You want to keep that perpetuating. And that tells me that any of these questions I asked, she's definitely never held any of them. She's probably just very nasty, rude, and vile. And my thing is about that is is one willingly okay with lying to their child and robbing them of an experience that could, you never know, your child could be the one later on down the road that changes a nation, you know what I mean, because of what they've learned and what they know. But instead, you'd rather leave them blind to it so they can pick up on these very disgusting, ways of thinking and treating others. Wow, she wins the parent she wins the award, the parent award of the century. Take away your child's possibility to be great. Are you guys following me here? Because that's usually what things like that are. We'll just say the word of like racist is racist. That's usually what that is when you're basically lying. You're raising a child up to believe in these hateful things about others, and their thinking process gets all jacked up off of false narratives that your own family put in within you to do what? To me, that's sucky parenting. I could choose other words, but it's horrible to be that way. So what I'm saying is, so when we carry those type of traits and those behaviors, who's picking up on that? That awesome fresh little brain that's picking everything up, you know, like a sponge and internalizing it. I don't know about the rest of you, but I am sick and tired of people that don't want to just let humanity live in peace and harmony. You make me sick. Okay? They look sick. It takes a lot to be a hateful individual. Like, it doesn't look like a good time. Loosen up. That's why I feel like they're like, loosen up. Like, what is wrong with you? you know? But it's about living in this solution. And I, for one, know that without kindness and empathy, you ain't get nowhere. Look, I'm tell you, money is great. It helps us. Yes, we need it. I mean, that's why basically we're able we're doing anything, it's for it, so we can take care of ourselves, even though we was born into this world. So it's kind of like I gotta, hey, stay here, it's freaking stat. But children, they pick up on these very things and then it just perpetuates. I am tired of all these things and all these people that just want to live to to oppress and hold down others. And it's like enough's enough. The kindness heals. Hatred kills. Kindness can change lives. Empathy can change lives. And they're free. Unlimited access. And the rewards that you recover from it is not something that you can, make it matter of fact. You can put it back into the world like how we put money back into the economy. Pay it forward with love. It's just gotta start being nicer to one. It's not hard at all whatsoever. And I'm not willing to find it to be hard for anybody. People have excuses for stuff. They probably come up with a disorder now, the kindness disorder or the empathy disorder, you know? I'm just kind of over it. We can fix so much within a whole nation just with those two alone. You know why? Because if you got those two, you can work out all the others without worrying about anybody trying to be sneaky, lie. These things shouldn't even be able to happen when it comes to leadership in this nation and where the leaders reside. These things should not be able to happen. You should not be able to lie. You should not. You have to be honest. You know what I mean? There's just things you have to uphold, and lying should not be taken lightly if due to the fact of what your positioning is. Because if you're lying, then that means there's something deceitful. Because what reason would it be? So therefore, you shouldn't be able to lie. It's a hypocritical thing to be in those positions those of power, but then turn around, look at a whole, people, and then condemn them for just things, but don't even lead by example. To me, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I just know that I'm tired of it. People are in pain. People are in need. Mental health has definitely people are starting to be okay with it now, like actually getting the help that they can or if they can. uh Bullying went up by 27%, cyberbullying with kids and stuff. So and then domestic, and just rise. So what's the solution here? Actually, realistically, before I get off here, for this very, like, not like in the future and not like any other time, like right now, from with the knowledge that we carry, that we hold at this moment, where we start. 'Cause people talk a lot about what we're going to do, but it never happens. They don't even think about it for the rest of whatever, it just sounds good at the moment. But if you're not doing anything without yourself, you know what I mean? Like outside of yourself, then what are we really doing here? Just talking to be heard, or because where's the solutions? You just keep people going back and forth. And I'm just, what a waste. I don't know. But I tell you this much, we can start with something huge: being kind. Treat people how you want to be treated, because the world is definitely boom and throw it right back at you. It's karma. It'll come for you. You nasty Val person, guess what? Here's your present, all wrapped up. And what you put out into the world is what you receive back. Okay? So be very, very careful what you put out into the world. Um, but yeah, just do that. Like let go of whatever type of pains and anything that caters to those type of thoughts and feelings. Yeah. It's just like the people that have a Christian church that says no on whites only. See, we're saying it out loud right now. I just sometimes I just laugh, and the other parts I just be like, I just wasted 5 seconds of my life saying that a church, right? A church that loves God and says whites only. Hmm. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. This makes no sense. And this is what I'm talking about. And we have children here, and these are grown adults, and it's like you should be embarrassed to even look at any children, to look either like at all your own. It's like, are you kidding me right now? How did we raise our kids to do what's right, and then you turn around and just lose your freaking whole mind? Hmm. Interesting. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. That doesn't go together, but it probably was done out of spite so someone could be like, oh, well, guess what? Those things there, no one cares. It's just dumb as hell. That's all I'm saying. Those type of ignorant things. But what we really care about is being able to have our lives respected, our very life, like the breath we intake and we put out, what our heart's pumping and beating. That's what it is. And for this to be something that is an issue, you could let me tell you this much. I'm not impressed by a lot of things, okay? Because I'm not an idiot. There should be no one that ever has to walk around or do whatever they have to do protesting for their lives to be saved, protected. Nobody should have to do that. And that's been going on for, whew, you come on, we know. So therefore, you can hit all these different things that cross in that house, that you sign and you take care of, and boom, boom, bam. And yet, what about that there? That someone just wants to know, can you stop just killing us at a like just blatantly like, and then blame us for it, kind of disrespectful and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But there never is. Hmm. And it's simple. You can just do it. The world we live in, I tell you. Before I end, I say this because right here, right now, you're looking at I'm trying to use the word melanin tone now because black, I explained this in a group that I'm in. It was like melanin tone people, white people. I don't even like addressing people by their color or their race. I don't. It just never sounds right, you know? So I opened up this group and then I made it comfortable for them. I said, look, if you are a non-black person, basically referring to a white person or European, then I'm opening this group to, and I called it, it was a safe place for people to ask questions and talk about stuff that they possibly want to know about an African American, a black person, or a melanin, whatever you want, whatever you choose to call yourself, because those things are important. You know what I mean? If somebody's willing to, give them a chance. Be that person that does it. It's okay to be that person. A lot of people will sit back and be like, it's not up to us, it's up to them, it's not up to us. Well, good luck with that. I mean, how far, how's that going now? You know what I mean? That, to me, I just find that to be funny and silly because you're gonna be waiting till kingdom come. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. People are thinking, but I did that, and then the most amazing things were talked about, and white people, European, and I'm gonna get it right too. See, that comes to my end, to my conclusion here. Um, there was a few that's started to talk about how they felt, and ones that they felt like they have like some sort of guilt because they feel so bad and they don't think they have the right to feel bad about anything we go through because of their privilege. And I really respected and appreciated her for you know wanting to express this because she had been wanting to. And so I created that place for them too. And there was another man, and he asked me, he said, well, what do we call you guys? We call you black, this, and that. I respect the hell out of that because you know what? How do we expect anybody to grow, any one of us, if we want to change, if we're not even willing to change ourselves or to be open minded to someone that wants to learn, you know? And I replied to him and I said, well, and you say that because I've been dealing with that lately, been, working with that within myself, because some people don't mind becoming black. That's fine with them. That's not something that, you know, it's if that's what one chooses, that's what they choose. And I don't want anybody to ever think that now you have to be worried about calling someone. Go ahead and ask them, and black people, let them ask you because if someone's asking you, then I find that to be them considering and being aware, right? Yeah, but I told him we can go on this journey together and find, and you know, because I said I was dealing with that same question. But I do know that we are not black. It's just a race, a term. But if you really knew the history of why they called us black, and then there's white, I mean, but you have to be willing to do the homework. I'm not going to give it all to you. You'd be amazed. But my point was in there. I said, you know what? Technically, I'm brown. I said, and sometimes you're not always white. I let them know. I said, sometimes you have a different type of colors too. Us all. I said, I mean, look at our ex-president. So literally, what are we calling each other? You know. But I'm pushing more towards melanin skin because that makes more sense. We're just used to black. They don't change it on any type of app, anything like that. It's fine. I'll still check this. I'm not that deeply rooted with it. I just want to be better. You know, it's the only way you can be better is by doing better. So if you are expecting to change, make any type of any kind of change, you have to be willing to change yourself. I don't care what color you are. If you want change, you might want to go home, sit down, and evaluate your reasonings, your motives, and yourself. And what will you be willing to change? Because everything's not always going to work out the way you want it to. It's going to be uncomfortable. And if you can't get past that, then there will be no change. Change starts with us, our individual selves first. Everybody, have a good night and be kind. I'm almost certain this is the button, but I can keep talking until it does work. I hope everybody has a good night, like a safe night. I don't know what the weather like. The weather's like everywhere, but just be aware that things are still going on, and let's fight to keep our humanity intact. Thank you. I just said it's still streaming. It's the weirdest thing ever. When I do this, if I lose it, I'm suing.